We are joined here by Vlad Tenev, CEO and co-founder of Robinhood. I have been using Robinhood for almost a decade now, which is kind of scary to think of. I started using it in college, which I'm sure is probably a very typical story of Robinhood. Obviously, you guys, I really think you guys have created one of the best apps for long-term investors. The UI is really unmatched. And one of the things that you guys have added semi recently, it's been a little bit now, is Robinhood Gold. There's a lot of really interesting features there. And I wanted to kick right into this conversation here because I know all the time is valuable and ask you about Robinhood Gold. How everything is going. I know there's a bunch of different pieces in there from the credit card to the APY to the deposit bonus. But I want to hear the general thoughts about where Robinhood Gold is at right now, kind of what excites you about some of the stuff that has already been added and maybe some of the thoughts for the future of it.
Yeah. So just to tell you kind of Robinhood's priorities right now, we are focused on three things. The first thing is winning the active trader market, and that's very much kind of the core of the business. And it's new product innovations like 24-hour market, adding new assets like index options and futures, and new platforms. We've been talking a lot about how we've got work to do. We're doing well on mobile, but we've got some work to do on web and desktop. So kind of that's one thing. The second thing is there's a massive wealth transfer coming where in the course of the next couple of decades, over $70 trillion is going to flow down from, silent generation and baby boomers down to younger generations like millennials and Gen Z. And we think Robinhood can be the primary beneficiary of that massive wealth transfer. And one of the things that we're working on to kind of like put a product lens on this concept is Robinhood Gold. And really, the way to think about Robinhood Gold is uh, you should like come to Robinhood for whatever feature resonates with you most. A lot of people come from stock trading, others trade crypto and discover options. Some come for the industry leading APY. But what Robinhood Gold should do is once you become a Robinhood Gold subscriber, it encourages you to discover the rest of our products. And so customers join, they become gold members, then they use all of our products and put the lion's share of their money into Robinhood. And so it's really about, can we serve the entire wallet, the holistic financial needs of our customers. And I think if we can do that and keep growing it, we can really be the place where millennials and Gen Z and beyond keep all of their finances. We can be their primary financial institution. And then the third thing, we're taking this technology, these capabilities, expanding them internationally and expanding them to other customer bases. So those are kind of the main three things we're focused on right now.
I love it. There's a lot to talk about there. I'm particularly interested in that wealth transfer kind of because it's been a conversation that we've had a bunch on these spaces, and it's definitely starting to pick up a little bit now. I'm curious on kind of what type of features and what's the type of thing that you think Robinhood has to do or has to keep doing to really be a major beneficiary of it. Obviously, you guys are very popular with Gen Z and millennials. Like I said, I started in college using Robinhood. I was in the classes definitely paying attention 100% of the time, but also had Robinhood up a bunch as well. But yeah, what are some of the things that you think Robinhood is maybe well positioned to benefit from this wealth transfer, and maybe some of the things that you might focus on to really strengthen that?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things, and there's always a portfolio of things that are necessary, and I kind of like to bucket them into three things. So number one is things that you can't get elsewhere. That Robinhood is like an innovator and a leader in that particular space, and those are things like 24-hour market. It's gotten very popular, particularly in this past year, where Robinhood has been, among the only places where you can trade stocks on Sunday nights or, you know, late after hours on weekdays. And you guys, I'm sure, have felt it as well. Uh, in the past, we would have to wait for Monday market open for to see like what's going on. Some of the news that hits on weekends, you don't really know how it's going to affect the market, or you have kind of a somewhat tenuous connection through the futures markets. But now with 24-hour market, you can see if there's news around a company, like whether it's you know Microsoft when all of the open AI stuff was happening over the weekend last fall, or AI companies like Nvidia. Uh, you can actually see those individual stocks react right away. And I think that's been a source of new assets and new customers into Robinhood, and just a big source of mind share for us. So we've been investing more and more into that. There's also just kind of like the bread and butter, like we look at customers that are transferring in. And by the way, we've had a lot of that. We've been net positive the past 3 quarters on incoming transfers from all of our competitors, all of the major competitors. And what we can see is that there are some customers that hold assets at other places that we don't support. They might be holding mutual funds or fixed income. And a lot of these assets, we've kind of considered obsolete, or that there's better alternatives for, but we have to add them over time. We have to add them over time in order to be the place where customers consolidate everything. So that's kind of like increase their priority in our mind. Um, and then there's also more account types. We recently added joint accounts. It used to be that Robinhood was only for individual taxable accounts, and it was sort of like your one Robinhood account onto the platform. We kind of ran into limitations for that a couple of years ago. We obviously had to add retirement accounts, and that had to be separate. Now we have joints, but a lot of the larger assets are, for example, in trusts that we don't currently support. So we'll have to round that out. And then I would say the kind of layer that can accelerate everything tremendously is our incentives. And because we're a technology company with lower fixed costs, and our philosophy has been to pass down more value to customers, and um, not kind of like keep it for ourselves and pad our bottom line as much as our competitors. We've been offering these great incentives to kind of like further incentivize people to move their accounts over. And we've done that on the retirement side with our 3% rollover and transfer bonuses. We've done it. We've got one going right now to commemorate the launch of joint accounts, where we'll give you a 1% boost on any individual or joint account being transferred to Robinhood. And that's been working very, very well. So it's kind of the combination of those three things. And I think it's pretty cool to see how far the product has come just in the past couple of years. Like before 2 years ago, it was actually impossible to transfer your account into Robinhood. So to kind of like go from zero and it not being possible to leading all of our competitive set in incoming asset flows. I think it's a testament to how far the team's come, and how customers are growing with us, and they're not really thinking about us as like a toy speculative trading app anymore, but really are starting to think about, well, Robinhood's offering industry leading service across all of my financial needs, and so I'm gonna put more and more into Robinhood. And for us being used and considered as like a very serious a place to put your serious money, I think that's been a great evolution of the brand and the company.
Yeah, it's been really great to see it grow. You guys have obviously been able to kind of crack the code with getting young investors, young traders onto the platform, and there's just been so much added over the years. I really am a fan of those retirement accounts being added onto there. And I want to talk a little bit more about Robinhood Gold. First of all, kind of like the underlyings of like how a 3% IRA match works, how a 1% deposit works. And we don't have to get into the full nitty gritty on there, but like how sustainable is the underlying of this. And I also want to add a second part to this, kind of about we obviously had Jerome Powell and the Fed cutting rates yesterday. The cash sweep accounts, the APY has become a very popular tool. I've honestly started using Robinhood Gold as my high yield savings account. And I
Yep.
wanted to kind of get your thoughts on like the future of that. I don't necessarily need to know exactly how the rates are going to end up in changing, but Is this something that you think will be a focus in the long term? That I kind of, I don't want to say you're going to take over the high yield savings account, but that's definitely how I have started using it. So I want to hear the thoughts around the sustainability and the underlyings of how the 3% match and the 1% deposit bonus actually work, and then the APY on the cash sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that um, we can talk about both of those things in terms of customers looking at Robinhood as and treating us more as a savings account. We have been seeing some of that behavior. Of course, we're offering very competitive yield, great FDIC insurance protection for your assets, even when they're not invested, and we have a credit card offering now that's done very, very well. I mean, we had 1 million people sign up for the wait list in the month since announcement, and the reviews for the credit card product are better than any product we've launched, even
I
even
got
better than even better than free trading if you look on the App Store reviews. So people are starting to think of Robinhood as sort of like a replacement for their bank. And I think there's more work we have to do on the user experience to make that smoother and like more frictionless. And that's where the redesign is coming in, where we can actually adapt the interface toward different use cases, just like Robinhood Gold. Because some people now are coming just for Robinhood Gold, and they'll invest a little bit, but like the investing use case is almost like uh, adjacent and secondary to just earning that yield on their cash, even when they're not investing. And so, economic wise, I think we went through a journey here because the history of matches at Robinhood really started with the retirement product. So when we rolled out retirement, the idea of a 1% contribution match built in was this like very powerful idea that we wanted to explore, but we didn't really know how it was going to go. So that was just like a lightweight way to see how the market would respond and see how customers would respond to it. And I think the one counterintuitive thing that ended up being very, very important is that we saw that as customers opened their retirement account, you might think that they have a certain amount of money, and money they put in retirement takes away from what they might put into their brokerage account. But what we saw was that it kind of the rising tide lifted all boats, and so more usage of retirement actually increased usage of the taxable brokerage account. And so that obviously made the economics better and more incremental. And then we decided to try not just a 1% boost on contributions, but on rollovers as well. And then we looked at what we can do that was like super aggressive for Robinhood Gold customers. And we decided to increase the 1% to 3%. And then it's starting to like in some ways resemble and compete with the 401k match offerings out there for customers that are fortunate to have an employer sponsored 401k with a match. So psychologically, a lot of those offers are around 3% match threshold, and so customers started kind of thinking about that much more. All of this has led to retirement usage at Robinhood really increasing. 1.7 billion in retirement at the end of 2023 has grown to like nearly 10 billion in retirement assets in less than a year. So people are using it, and I think we're continuing to develop more and more and improve the offering. But like we've been able to test our way to a broad range of matches and validate the economics kind of as we've gone along.
Wow, from 1.7 to 10 billion in under a year is pretty impressive. And I actually have my own retirement account on there. 3% match literally just pays for my gold subscription, and then like 2x, 3x the gold subscription. So I love that. And I have the credit card. I don't want to flex on everyone, but I did get the solid gold credit card. So I got 10 people referred to pay for that first month of Robinhood Gold.
I
And
need four
it's
more.
pretty
Four
cool.
more.
It's really nice. My favorite thing about the app, which you guys did a really clean job, is that I could take my points and directly transfer it into the Robinhood account. So intuitive. Surprised other people haven't really done that, or at least I haven't seen it. And that was definitely my favorite part of the things that you guys have done with the credit card so far. The digital stuff is really cool and all that stuff, but being able to transfer it directly into the Robinhood account is very smart.
Yeah, yeah. My favorite is, I've got children, and you can actually get you guys are probably a little too young for this, but you can get your kids credit cards and actually teach them responsible credit usage, and they can like grow their credit scores even before they turn 18, which is pretty amazing. And I don't think anyone else offers the feature in such a simple way, and that's been really popular. My kids love going to the toy store and like whipping their cards out, trying to figure out which way to put it in the machine. So it's really cute and kind of fun to watch.
Do we have solid gold cards for kids yet?
Well, I mean, if they do a little marketing for us, if they get 10 referrals, but yeah,
You
the
got,
referral
by the way,
thing.
Vlad, you got me with that one. I was so excited. I needed that solid gold credit card. You should have seen me on Twitter on here. I was pushing it. So you guys are great with the promos. That was a good one.
Yeah, and we're looking into giving people more ways to get it. I know not a lot of people, some people just don't love referring friends to things, and it's gotten a little bit overused over the past few years. But what we really wanted to do was, a typical financial company would just give solid gold cards to their highest net worth, highest balance customers, and it's always been part of the Robinhood ethos that you should get equal access to the financial system, no matter how big your bank account balance is or anything like that. And so we really wanted a way to get everyone, not just like wealthy people, access to these solid gold cards, and that's kind of how it came about. Because really, not everyone has millions of dollars, but you know folks can hustle and earn their card just by like grit and building up followings and helping us also get the word out about this awesome product. So we'll probably have more ways to get it in the future. It's gotten really good reception, but that was kind of how we were thinking about uh, the means of getting it, and not just giving it to high balance customers.
Very nice. Wolf, you got a question?
Yeah, speaking of awesome products, a lot of people have been getting very creative with AI lately. I'm curious to get your thoughts on AI and how you see it impacting finance and investing.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a hot specific take on AI. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of AI vaporware out there, and people are just putting chatbots and interfaces where they don't really add much value. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Every product from you know Facebook to LinkedIn now has like some variant of Chat GPT or Llama baked in. I think if you look at the AI use cases in pretty much any field, not just finance, that'll be successful. The one question that you should be asking yourself is, are people actually paying a human to do this thing for me now that I would want AI, or I'm considering having AI do for me? And I think if the answer is yes, if there's like an established use case where people are paying smart humans to do the thing for them, then I think there's value. If there's not, then I think it's a little bit more questionable. So, if you use this kind of mental heuristic, uh, you can apply it to like self-driving cars, right? Self-driving cars, no brainer, very useful. You pay your Uber driver, your Lyft driver, real money to take you from place to place. If an AI can replicate that experience, and even if it's like a significant portion of the cost, if it's less than 100%, it's probably going to be pretty successful. And so I think for finance, you just have to look at where consumers are paying humans to provide them a valuable service that they're currently paying for. And I think the most interesting place is in financial advice, or what I'd like to call like family office services. So it's a place where customers are paying a lot of money. They're not necessarily very happy. And it's something that is predominantly available to rich people. I mean, if you've got 100 million plus net worth, you might have a family office or an outsized family office that handles all of your financial needs. And our belief is that we can actually use artificial intelligence to make those services more broadly accessible to people without as much money. And that's kind of the direction that we've been building towards. Of course, there's all sorts of use cases internally, customer support, engineering, but I think you'll start to see the first uh, legitimately, or what we hope to be legitimately useful products that'll improve the financial lives of our customers, baked into Robinhood from the start in 2025. So we are really starting to think about, like, what are people paying humans for right now? Can we actually provide that service in a much higher quality way, and really, democratize wealth management and advice in the same way that we've done to individual stock trading?
Love it. I am very much looking forward to all that stuff that might be coming there. AI has definitely become a keyword, and some companies are going to come in and really create some awesome stuff. Some companies are going to do the vaporware and just get the name for it. And I'm excited to see what Robinhood does in this space going forward. I'll be looking forward to that. I want to shift the conversation a little bit back here towards the active traders. Obviously, Robinhood has been one of the best places for long-term investors, the UI, everything like that. But the trading part of it, you have said yourself, is kind of an area that you guys need to step up your game in and add some new stuff into. So I'm curious on kind of what you guys are doing in that front to improve the offerings for active traders, and kind of generally how you are thinking about active traders going forward for Robinhood.
Yeah, I'd say in the past couple of years, we've really pivoted our business towards active traders. And I think it's been a large part of the recovery you've kind of seen in Robinhood in the past 9 months to 12 months. It's kind of the fruits of the labor toward active traders actually starting to bear fruit. And I think it took us a little bit longer than you might think. And that's because for the first many years of Robinhood's existence, call it the first like 7 or 8 years, we were just focused on first time investors. And we wanted to make the best possible, simplest, and most delightful interface for someone to just get started with. And we were doing very well in colleges and universities, doing well with customers that were, buying their first stock. Um, but what happened was a lot of those first timers became more sophisticated, and the amount of content that's out there on the internet that helps people learn and become educated, you guys being an example of that, has just exploded. And so a lot of these folks have discovered options and more sophisticated strategies, and our interface frankly didn't hold up very well for them. They started looking for alternatives, and then there were all sorts of other customers that saw the cost structure, particularly for things like options. And Robinhood's still among the few major brokers that don't charge options contract fees. Everyone else pretty much is charging 65 cents a contract, and at 100 contracts, that's $65 in cost. And so the economic value of switching to Robinhood, even if it doesn't like meet all of your needs, is so strong that we had a lot of those customers coming. um, and so, uh, yeah, up until recently, I guess we were serving active traders incidentally. And then we saw that, you know, these customers who were the most engaged, the most advanced, should have been happiest with our product back in 2022, were actually less happy than an average customer. But the great thing was, when we kind of saw this problem and mobilized our resources toward it, we fixed it very quickly. So within 6 months, if you looked at customer satisfaction, if you look at net promoter score, we flipped the story, and our active traders were actually much happier than our average customer. And what we have coming up now is the Hood Summit, which is our first big event for active traders. And we invited a lot of our biggest and most active customers, and we're gonna bring the community together, and we're also going to launch some awesome new products for them, some awesome new products that were built with the active trader audience in mind. And it's amazing, like the core of our business has gotten much healthier, but we've done like fairly easy things. And we're about to release like our first suite of products that's specifically designed for active traders from the ground up. And I hope people will really like it. I think you all will, but we'll see soon.
I am very excited for it. So the Hood Summit is October 16th to October 18th. I was reading some of the kind of the about it as you were talking about there. A lot of the new trading products could be coming. Will we be able to live stream this? Is there going to be a keynote? What can we expect for this Hood Summit, which is coming up October 16th to the 18th?
Yeah, basically, the thing that I'm most excited about is launching some new products that you haven't seen before. We've teased some of them kind of visually on social media, and so I think folks have heard that we've been working on something on desktop web. Um, I've talked about a couple of new assets that are coming, like futures and index options. Um, and these are some of the most requested features that our active traders have been looking for. So I always love rolling out new products, but we're also going to have some community events and some speakers. And so it'll be fun for all ages.
I am very much looking forward to it. Awesome. I appreciate you joining me on this one and sharing so much. I know I did see today Robinhood actually coming out and becoming the official jersey patch sponsor for the Memphis Grizzlies. You guys were posting some like cryptic messages over the last couple of days, and I have to say there were some internet sleuths who actually got it. They were like posting the pictures and like doing some like full on like photo editing and laying it over it. And I was impressed that they were right, but that seems
Yep.
something pretty exciting that you guys have coming here, becoming the official jerseys patch sponsors for the Memphis Grizzlies. Are we rooting for the Grizzlies now this year? They're gonna do good
Well,
with that Robinhood boost.
I do like the Grizzlies. I think that if you look at um, how they've done in the past couple of years, I mean, they've been like a top two team in the West, and they've got some good young talent. John Moran. He's been a little bit questionable in the past year, but I think that I'm hoping he comes off strong. Desmond Bain is looking really good. Derrick Rose still playing. He's a former MVP. He's pretty amazing. Um, so I think there's a lot to like in that team. I think they could end up surprising a lot of people. Of course, we still love the Washington Wizards as well. That's my hometown team, and I spent a year in LA for grad school. I was studying math, and I claim the Lakers as my hometown team as well. And we're from the Bay Area. We've got some Golden State Warriors fans, I'm sure. But yeah, we're happy about the Memphis Grizzlies. I was trying to see if you could use the AI tools to decipher our hints, and you actually could not. So the AI technology has still not caught up to humans on the internet. So it's pretty amazing. A lot of people did get the Grizzlies thing, and GPT-4 was not. So you should feel very proud of yourselves.
Point one humans, zero chatbots. Love it. But yeah, I was very impressed to see because they were kind of doing that. I was like, oh, that actually kind of makes sense. We'll see what happens, and here it is today. We're coming up on the 30 minutes we have scheduled for this, and I know your time is really important. Appreciate you joining in. I want to know if there's any kind of final words, anything that maybe we haven't talked about that you're super excited about. Any of the stuff we have coming forward for Robinhood. Obviously, that Hood Summit coming up October 16th to 18th. Looking forward to that one. Anything else you want to leave people on the spaces?
Well, I would just say that we've got a lot of amazing product designers and artists and engineers that put a lot of care into their craft, making the products as simple and clean as possible and useful. And we're all paying a lot of attention to X and social media and Reddit. So please keep the feedback coming and keep the feature requests. And we're going to work to make Robinhood the best financial platform for you. I think that, if I'm successful, if we're successful in 10 years, Robinhood should be the place where you hold all of your important assets and where all of your financial transactions go through. And tune into the Hood Summit. That's going to be going live on X as well. There's a live stream on X, and we're looking forward to sharing some cool stuff with you all next month.
I'm very much looking forward to that event. Vlad Tenev, the CEO and co-founder of Robinhood. I really appreciate you joining us on this spaces and sharing so much information. I know a lot of people got a bunch from it, and I hope we get to maybe do something like this again. But I appreciate you joining in and sharing so much, and I'm excited to see everything that Robinhood does going forward.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Gav. Thank you for the listeners. I see some familiar faces over there, so appreciate y'all coming and listening.
Yeah, I know Amit did a fantastic interview with a little bit ago, and there's a bunch of other people down there. So shout out to
I'm a
our
big
friends for
fan of
coming and hanging out.
Ahmed. I see
Amit does some
Jody
good stuff.
Doge as well. Hi, Jody.
Ooh, that reminds me, we didn't get that. I wanted to ask a little bit about crypto, but there's just so much amazing stuff that we have going on here. But we will talk about it maybe in the future. Shout out to everyone for coming in and supporting us and everything we do it. Vlad, I appreciate you making this spaces so fantastic. And we will catch you all on our next one. Appreciate
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Have a great one, team. Thank you for this.
Thank you,
Be
Vlad.
well. See ya.
This for anyone who came in a little bit late, this whole spaces was recorded, and we're going to make sure that you guys can go and see it and share it out. So the second I close out the spaces, this will turn into a recording link. I appreciate everyone. Follow Vlad Tenev, CEO of Robinhood. The Robinhood account is also down there. Go and check out the stuff that they're doing. I appreciate you all. We will catch you all later. Thank you and goodbye.